A seller's property disclosure. What is that form? Why is it important to sellers? And especially why is it important to buyers? Man, do I have a story for you guys. Stay tuned because that is what we're going to be talking about next. Hi, it's Natasha Bazile with soldbynat.com, associate broker, home selling, and new construction specialist in Georgia. So I had to stop by the office just to make this video for you guys. Oh my God! Wow! Because yeah, we have to talk about it. Like, I have had a long day. I mean, my first appointment was a progress check-in. Then I had a pre-drywall inspection. Then I did a updated video for community for Eleanor in Loganville. And if it's up, I'm gonna link it here so you can see that. So I got some finishing footage that I needed to finish up that video. Did some family pickups and drop-offs. And then I met these clients to show them property. And it is Friday. It is now 7 o'clock. Like, I want to head home and shut it down. But before I shut it down, I have to submit this termination form for this property that I'm about to tell you about in this whole situation. And yeah, I'm going to give you all the deets on that. But yeah, I could be headed straight home, but I'm like, nope. I'm stopping by the office because I want to record this video out. Everything is fresh and share this information with you. So it's not going to be completely formatted. It's going to be a story time along with information and things that you should know. So it is regarding a seller's property disclosure statement. You know, these forms can vary by state. I am in Georgia, so this one is for Georgia. This is the 2022 printing and January 2022 because updates are made and this form changes from time to time. Like right now, it has yes or no boxes. You're answering these questions either yes or no. Previous form used to have yes, no, or NA, right? So changes are made to this form. The purpose of this form, I'm going to read it right from the Georgia form. On the top of this form, it says, the seller's property disclosure statement is an exhibit to the purchase and sale agreement with an offer date of blank for the property known as blank. You put an address. The statement is intended to make it easier for the seller to fulfill the seller's legal duty to disclose hidden defects in the property of which the seller is aware. Seller is obligated to disclose such defects even when the property is being sold as is. So sellers are supposed to complete this form. As much as they know, they should disclose it and let the buyers know, because the inspection period, the due diligence period, is basically the time period for the buyer to do their own due diligence and decide that they want to proceed going forward with this house. This form allows them to do that. It discloses everything that you, the seller, knows about the home. Buyers, there are times where you do not get this form. If it's an investment property, sometimes investors are like, well, hey, I never lived there, so you're not getting one of these forms. I have had instances where, yeah, you're an investor, but can you fill out what you know since you own the property? You know, you could do that, or they'll give you something. But a lot of times they don't give you anything because their thing is, we haven't lived in the house, we don't know about it. And it's really covering CYA and themselves. They don't want to put themselves on the line, and they haven't owned this property for long. That is why the form is done, and how you get it. Like I said, sellers complete it and give it to buyers. Agents, when I am listing a property, I go ahead and get this document up front. Like, it baffles me why agents wait. Like, you list the home, it's going to be needed for the contract. Like, I already have it available. You list the home and then ready to write an offer. I'm like, hey, do you have the seller's property disclosure? Do you have the community association disclosure that discloses information about the HOA? If the house is older, do you have the lead-based paint exhibit? Do you have this stuff? And they're like, oh no, I'm going to get it. Wait, just get it up front. Give us everything we need. Agents that are on it, they already are having their clients fill this out with the listing agreement so that everything is ready to go. This one is one for the books. And this is year 11 in real estate. It is never a dull moment in real estate. You're always learning. There's always something new. And I'm like, yeah, I'll never forget this one. And I'm going to share. My buyers like the property, put in an offer. We're under contract. In the listing remarks, the agent did provide, they had this. available. And they had in the remarks that, you know, the septic system was last pumped September 2021. So I'm like, okay, good. They've done stuff. Because when it's a septic system, that's one of the things, like, how did the previous seller maintain this system? So that's one of the good things to know. So I was like, okay, they're already proactive. They already got the stuff done. Cool. So we go through, we have our inspection. And while we're there, shout out to John Watson with Whole House Home Inspection. He's like, yeah, this foundation, this is like new. They did some foundation work. So find out why they did the foundation work. That should have been on this form, right? But it wasn't. So, okay. From the inspection report reveals some other things, and we compile the list. Okay, let's get these questions answered so that we can know how to handle the inspection period, the due diligence period. Basically, I'd be filling out an amendment to address concerns like, hey, this is what the buyer would like the seller to address. So it's either the seller is going to be like, yeah, we'll fix it. We'll fix some. No, we're not fixing anything. If they take that stance, then my buyers have the option to terminate. Or we can come to a terms like, hey, we really don't want to do the work, but we'll give you a credit so you can get work done. You know, you have some options during the inspection period, but that's why you need that inspection period to get that stuff done, right? We get the questions answered and they're providing all this information. Why are you providing it now? Why didn't you just disclose the stuff up front? Okay, fine. Let's keep going. So my buyers are very reasonable. I will say that about them, because there are some buyers, the first sign of anything, they're like, oh, run, terminate. We terminate it. No, if you're that type of buyer, the first thing you see, you're gonna run. You need to educate yourself a little more about the home buying process. My buyers are very reasonable. Even with this house, they really like the house. And even after they got the first round of answers, they're like, okay, all right, we can ask them for X, Y, Z, such and such. And we're putting that form together. And they were like, yeah, if they're willing to do this stuff, we're good. If not, we're willing to walk. So that's another thing. They didn't fall in love with the home, which we had that talk at our home buyers consultation, which is our first meeting of the minds, right? And they did not fall in love, because some people will fall in love and overlook all the signs, because we've been getting a lot of signs. All right, so last night I am working on the amendment to address concerns, and I went back to them with another question based on information, this public information that we found. And the agent in one of her responses said, I can only share the information that the seller shared with me. Okay, so I went back to them with another question. They came back today, provided a receipt, didn't provide an explanation. That was the one that kind of did it for me. I said the other one did it for me, but like this one really was like, rewind to last night when I'm working on this amendment to address concerns. I let my buyers know. I'm like, hey, this is going to be a long list. I don't know that the sellers are going to be on board. Side note, that's something I had already asked the agent up front. Like, where are your sellers' minds at? What's their position? Because if they're of the mindset, like, we don't really want to do anything, we think we could get top dollar for this house, then it makes no sense for us to go through this process. Let's just terminate now. But she said, I really don't know. I'm going to present whatever you send me. I'm like, okay, cool. So I tried to feel them out for that, right? So last night I told them that, like, I don't know if they're going to go for this. And I don't normally do this, but if there are other homes that you're interested in seeing, go ahead and send them to me. It wouldn't hurt to see them. And again, I say I don't normally do that, because normally when you find a home, you're under contract, like, we're working on that home. There are some buyers that get one home under contract, they want to go over here and see this home, go over there and see this home. Like, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. But under these circumstances, I felt like that's what we should do. And they were receptive to that and thanked me for nudging them in that way. So they went out to see some homes today. They saw one that was like further out. I had another agent show them that one, and then they came and met up with me, and we went and saw some others. While we were there, we're like talking, comparing, like, do you like this one more than that one? What are you feeling? And yeah, we just had a conversation, and the husband was like, I really feel good about this. Like, we were all on the same page. At one point I was like, they told me how they felt, and the wife said, I know you can't really say or you're gonna tell me that it's what we really want. So when she was done, I was like, well, do you want to hear my thoughts? And then I shared with her, and we were like all on the same page. So they felt good about letting it go. I feel good about them letting it go. I won't have the concern that issues are going to keep arising once they're in the house. One, two, the agent didn't communicate very well. So it'd have been one thing if the agent was really good at communicating, really trying. So it almost felt like pulling teeth. Then they didn't disclose. That is the biggest thing. If they would have disclosed this stuff up front, my buyers would have been good proceeding or going forward, submitting the amendment to address concerns and seeing if we could work it out. Because of the way they went about it, that has left a bad taste in their mouth. The energy feels off. Things just aren't lining up. It's feeling harder than it needs to be. They're like, you know what? Okay, we're okay with letting it go. I respect that because again, I say they are really reasonable. And the sad thing is, because like these sellers just lost out on really good buyers because had they dealt with them differently, honestly, upfront wise, that's not a word, but you get what I'm saying. They would have felt better about going forward with this transaction. Something that crossed my mind and that I share with them, if they didn't disclose the things until we asked them, right? They didn't disclose it up front. What other things are going on that we're not asking about that they're not disclosing? That's one. The wife did mention, she's like, well, maybe they're just busy. They're trying to move. Maybe that's why they didn't disclose. I'm like, okay, we were kind of like, okay, that could be a reason. But when we asked for it, they had so much information ready to provide us. So why didn't you just provide that up front? So what really got me, and I know I keep saying this, and what makes me feel like it's something more there is because, like I said in the beginning, in the MLS remarks, it said that the inspection had been pumped September of 2021. When we found the intel that we found last night, my buyer found last night, shared with me, and when I requested the receipt, which is something that I was going to request, when I got the receipt, there was a whole lot of work done, like to the tune of $9,000 worth of work done on the septic. It wasn't just a pumping. Somebody knew to some degree to craft this wording in a way. That's what it felt like to me. Let's just say that we got the septic tank pumped. I was thinking, okay, for that much money, did they get a whole new system? But that's something that I would lead with as an agent. Hey, the septic system is totally new. So I don't think it's totally new. They didn't disclose that it's totally new. So maybe a lot of work had been done. Again, things that my buyer does not need to take on. They plan on being in this home for 3 to 4 years. They're not going to be there for 10, 15 years to keep putting into this home. So I share all that to say, like, they feel good about terminating. I feel good about them terminating. And I want to share these things because this is not something that happens often, but I at least want you guys to be aware when you're seeing signs, look into them. In no way am I telling you like, hey, if you see something on the inspection report that you don't like, just walk away. In no way am I telling you that. But when you see the signs there, heed those signs. A couple of things that I want to share with you about the seller's property disclosure. The Georgia one at this time is 7 pages, right? So it has a bunch of yes, no questions. I'm taking out the property address and stuff. It has the yes, no questions. When was the house built? When was the roof replaced? How old is the HVAC? It asks you those questions. So it has just general, is the property occupied? If it's vacant, how long ago was it last occupied? Then they have another section about the covenants. Is the property a part of an HOA? So you're disclosing it here. And if it is, you need to provide the community association disclosure exhibit that I mentioned before. Lead-based paint. Was this home or any fixtures or anything built before 1978? If so, you need to attach such and such, okay? Goes into structural items, additions, alterations, if there's settlement and cracking, any violations for building codes. They just got a lot of questions there. And under each section, they have like a little explanation. Like if you checked yes, go ahead and provide an explanation, right? Next part is about the HVAC, how old, is it in need of repair? Those kind of questions. Next section is sewer, plumbing, and related items. If it's a septic tank, what was the last day of service? They put 9/13/2021. No explanation, it's blank. Next page, roof and gutters. Next one, flooding, drainage, moisture, and springs. So they did actually provide an explanation, and they were like, said there was water in the basement and it was professionally serviced by any home repairs. So they did disclose that part. I would have had them provide more details, but nevertheless, they did disclose, and when we asked, they provided that information. So, okay, we could get them a little. But the next one is soil and boundaries, soil sediment, those kind of things. The next one is termites. I'm just asking you, do you have a termite bond? Provide the information on that. Next page. This trips me out, y'all. I have to share this with y'all. Under environmental health and safety concerns, there is actually a question that says, has meth ever been produced on the property? This question trips me out. Like, how common are meth houses that y'all had to put it on a Georgia disclosure form? Like, I don't know. Agents, if you're looking from another state, is that question on your form? Trippy. Like this, I gotta ask. Like, I gotta find out one day. Is it that common? All right, next one is litigation and insurance. Have you filed insurance claims, such and such, such and such? This one said the basement water overflow of basement toilet. That's all they put. I would have provided more, but okay. Other hidden defects that have not otherwise been disclosed. No. Okay. Agricultural disclosure. That's the next one. Next page, I didn't print it, is a full blank page for them to provide all kind of explanations, whatever they need to provide. The next page after that is an actual checklist of, hey, what is staying with the property? You're supposed to check all the things that are going to stay with the property. And down here, it says clarification of multiple items. Like, say you have a fridge upstairs, a fridge in the basement, you only keep in one. You need to say, okay, we're leaving the one that's upstairs. And then down here, items needing repair. And then the last page is where you sign off on it. The husband saying to me, when we first started talking about this property, he was like, I don't want to be left holding a hot potato. So like, they got this house and they're like, yeah, it's too much. Let's sell it to somebody else. He doesn't want to be in that position, right? But still, very, very, very reasonable people. They're like, okay, we'll address this. We'll ask them for this. They're not going in saying, ask them for everything on inspection report, because that's also not realistic. If you haven't seen this video that I did, 12 things that are commonly found on inspection reports. There are some things that are just common. It's a home, wear and tear, deterioration over time. That's why I make videos to let home buyers know, like, you have to be keeping up your investment, and these are the things that you do. Check out this video where I talked about like springtime. These are the home maintenance things that you want to do to keep up your investment, right? So I'm signing off here. If you guys have any questions, please leave them down below. If you have any experiences that you want to share to help others, please share that as well. Please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. It is free and it helps me. And share this video if you know somebody that's buying a home. If you're an agent, share it with another agent so that you're in the know. A reminder, if you're not able to watch a video, remember you can always check out my podcast and listen to it there. So I'm gonna get out of here. It is actually Memorial Day weekend. So thank you to all those who have given their lives in service. And I also throw in there those that are serving. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Can't thank you enough. All right, have a positive, peaceful, and productive day. Bye.